everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I'm Nuzhat Sana and in this video I'll discuss today's top current and static general studies questions for UPSC Prelims Examination 2022 onwards. And these questions are framed keeping in view both the factual as well as analytical aspects of UPSC Prelims exam. Also, I would like to inform you that these questions are part of GK Today's UPSC Prelims test series, which is available in GK Today Android app. And the test series for 2022 Prelims examination comprises total of 7500 questions, divided 2500 questions on current general studies and 5000 questions on static general studies. And the series has started from May 2021 and it will end with UPSC Prelims Examinations 2022. So if you wish to access all questions of GK Today UPSC Prelims test series, you may subscribe the test series in the app. So now without wasting any further time, let's get started.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our brand new series of UPSC Prelims Model Questions Practice, and today it is your 5th lecture. So those who are new to this channel, let me inform you briefly that this particular series is our latest initiative in which every day we'll be discussing top 5 questions that are relevant for your upcoming UPSC Prelims examination. So we will not just see which of the questions are right and which are wrong, rather we will analyze each of the statements in a detailed manner to make our concepts crystal clear, okay? So now let's start. Question number 1. With reference to the various international COVID-related initiatives in recent months, which of the following is our correct statements? So here 2 statements have been given and you have to identify which of the following are correct, okay? So let's read the first statement. India has actively participated in both Quad Vaccine Initiative as well as SAARC COVID-19 Emergency Fund. First of all, let's talk about Quad Vaccine Initiative. So actually this was a step taken by the Quad countries to address the COVID pandemic situation in the Indo-Pacific region. Which are the Quad countries? So this is the grouping of 4 democracies: India, Australia, US and Japan, and the primary objective of this grouping is to work for free, open, prosperous and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. So it was decided that these vaccines will be developed in USA, manufactured in India, financed by Japan and US and supported by Australia through logistics for the Indo-Pacific, including the island states, okay? So yes, India was obviously part of it. And second is SAARC COVID-19 Emergency Fund. What is this? Actually, in the month of March last year, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi proposed a COVID emergency fund in response to the global coronavirus pandemic. So this was proposed during a video conference of SAARC heads of state and government, and later on the other members also expressed their support for this proposal, and finally India donated $10 million as the initial contribution to support the initiative. So obviously India was also a part of this fund, okay? And talking about SAARC countries, first of all it stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and it is the regional intergovernment organization that consists of total 7 member countries, and which are these: India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives and Sri Lanka. Do remember that China is not part of SAARC nation. So here first statement is obviously correct. Now second one is the Solidarity Trial has been launched by the Government of India in association with Serum Institute of India. Actually, the Solidarity Trial was not launched by Government of India. Instead, it is a proposal of World Health Organization. So it is a kind of multinational trial carried out among patients with severe COVID-19 infections to compare the treatment options for COVID-19. Okay? And aim was rapid global search for drugs to the COVID-19. So this particular trial basically compare 4 treatment options against standard of care to assess their relative effectiveness against the COVID-19. So by enrolling the patients from multiple countries, the trial aims to rapidly discover if any of the drugs slow down the disease progression or to check whether it can improve the survival. So this one is wrong because it is not an initiative of Government of India. So that's why only first is correct. Question number 2. Which of the following scientific organizations or bodies in India were established during the British era? So you have to identify which of the following organizations were formed under British colonial period. First is Patna Meteorological Observatory. So this was established in 1867 by the British Corps of Engineers. And why it is important, why it is in news? Because the World Meteorological Organization has awarded the status of Centennial Observing Station in recognition to its long-term meteorological organization exceeding over 100 years, and the headquarters of WMO lies in Geneva, Switzerland. So yes, this is right. Second is Imperial Council of Agricultural Research. So this one is a autonomous body which is now called as Indian Council of Agricultural Research actually, and it was established in the year 1926 based on the recommendations of Royal Commission on Agriculture. So this council is actually the apex body for coordinating, guiding and managing the research and education in agriculture, including horticulture, fisheries and animal husbandry in the entire country. So yes, this is also correct. Third is Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. So this observatory was founded in the year 1899 and is located in the state of Tamil Nadu. Now why it was in news? Because researchers from ARIES, means Aryabhatta Research Institute of Observation Sciences, have used the digitized data of this solar observatory in order to probe sun's rotation over the century. Also, it was at this particular observatory that the Evershed effect, which is a property of sunspots, was observed for the very first time. Okay, so this is also true. And last is Indian Museum of Kolkata. Earlier this museum used to be called as Imperial Museum, and it was founded in the year 1814. Do remember that it is the oldest as well as largest museum in India. Basically, it depicts the history from prehistoric era to the modern times, and it was founded by the Asiatic Society of Bengal. So this one is also right. So correct answer becomes 1, 2, 3 and 4 all. Okay. Now next question. Which of the following is our correct provisions in the Draft Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020? So regarding this particular policy, you have to tell which of the following statements are true. First statement says free subscription to the domestic and foreign scientific journals under Open Science Policy. Actually, Open Science Policy is a key feature of this particular STIP Policy 2020. And under this provision, a Science, Technology and Innovation Observatory is to be established as a central repository of scientific data gathered from research work across India. But the problem is this free subscription. Actually, it says one nation, one subscription, not free subscription. Okay. So this one nation, one subscription envisions bulk subscription in domestic and foreign scientific journals, and this will basically democratize access to the journals. Okay. So due to this particular adjective, it is wrong. Then second statement says Strategic Technology Board to coordinate between strategic departments in the government. So yes, the policy seeks to establish a Strategic Technology Board to coordinate between the strategic departments in the government. This one is right. And last statement says 30% representation for women in decision-making bodies. So yes, to improve gender equality, it seeks to provide 30% representation for women in decision-making bodies. So this one is also correct. Basically, the Draft Science, Technology and Innovation Policy will guide the vision of positioning India among the top 3 scientific superpowers in the decade to come. And apart from it, it also outlines the strategies for strengthening India's science, technology and innovation ecosystem to achieve the larger goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Fine. So your correct answer becomes only 2 and 3. Question number 4. With reference to the various commodity boards of India, consider the following statements. So first one is, the Coffee Board is located in Bangalore. Actually, the Coffee Board is a statutory body that was constituted under the Coffee Act of 1942, and it functions under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and yes, its head office lies in Bangalore. So this one is correct. Second statement says, both Coffee Board and Tea Board were established by separate legislations. So already we talked about Coffee Board. Now let's talk about Tea Board. It is also a statutory body constituted under the Tea Act of 1953. And it is also under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and head office lies in Kolkata. So yes, both of these boards have different legislations. So this is also true. Third statement says, Rubber Board is headquartered in Cochin, Kerala. So Rubber Board is a statutory organization constituted under the Rubber Act of 1947. And also it falls under the administrative control of Commerce and Industry Ministry, and headquarters lies in Kottayam, Kerala, not Cochin, Kerala. Okay, so this is wrong. And last statement says, Tobacco Board is a non-statutory organization. No, Tobacco Board is also a statutory organization, and it was constituted under the Tobacco Board Act of 1975, and it also functions under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and the headquarters lies in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so this is also wrong, and correct answer becomes only 1 and 2. Now coming to last question, with reference to various international courts and tribunals, which of the following are headquartered in the same country? So you have to identify the headquarters of which among the following courts or tribunals lie in the same country. First is Permanent Court of Arbitration. So this is an international arbitral tribunal located in The Hague, Netherlands, and it is a United Nations observer. Actually, it is not a court in the traditional sense, but provides services of arbitral tribunal to resolve the disputes that were out of international agreements between member states, international organizations or private parties. Okay. Now second is International Court of Justice. Also its second name is World Court, and it is one of the 6 principal United Nations organs, and again the headquarters lies in Hague, Netherlands. So basically this court settles dispute between states in accordance with the international law and gives advisory opinions as well on international legal issues. So it is the only international court that adjudicates general disputes between the countries. So basically its rulings serve as the primary source of international law. Now third one is International Criminal Court. This one is another international court, and the headquarters again lies in Hague, Netherlands. Do remember that it is the only organization with jurisdiction to try individuals for international crimes against humanity, genocides, war crimes or crimes of aggression. Okay, and last is International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. So this body was established as one of the 4 dispute resolution mechanisms under UNCLOS, means United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and it was adopted and signed in the year 1982. So the headquarters of this particular organization lies in Hamburg in Germany. So this is odd one out. Correct answer is only 1, 2 and 3. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. If you want to give any feedback, review and suggestion regarding these lectures, you can tell us in the comment section. We will definitely try to implement that. So we will meet again with 5 more new and interesting questions soon. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.